Hello everyone, my name is Andrey, I'm co-founder of Playtronica, and we have this new thing where we talk to our users, to collaborators, and discuss their ideas, talk about their projects and plans. And this way we hope to build a community and spread the more Playtronica love around the world. So Eddy, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. So I'm Eddy. I'm a reflexologist in France. I discover Playtronica with two friends, Olga Maximova and Vincent de Malherbe. So during one of my sessions, we talked about music and a lot of things. And they said me, oh, we are artists, and we developed with other guys in the world with a new tool, the touch me, and the other tools, the Orbita, and that's it. And the other tools. So I was curious about that because in my treatment I try to develop something else to increase my treatment with other way. So they show me that the touch me with water, with fruits, and with their show the 16 pineapple, and for me it was amazing. That's that kind of music. So we with that we thought about treatment to introduce the touch me in my treatment. So we try this with them first, and then the last summer in a shop we make an event with two parts, one outside parts. They make the Playtronica with fruits. Inside, I was in the room to make a single treatment with the touch me.
So tell me, what is reflexology for those who never maybe heard the word but never tried?
Okay, it's an old technique. It comes from Ayurvedic medicine or Chinese medicine. So with the feet, we have an access to your body. So you with touch, with soft touch or deep touch, we can define where problems are in your body, and then we can. It looks like acupuncture. It looks like this, but I use only my fingers
So
and my brain.
it's a touch interaction with parts of the body which affect how you feel or makes the body react, right? Where the
Is it?
idea is that with touch you provoke a reaction in the body.
Yeah, with touch we provoke reaction, and for me that there is both feeling. You have the feeling in my fingers, and I can see the reaction, and there is another way. That's when you press one part of the foot, we can act that zone on your body is in balance. So for the reflexologist, we have to, it's not only this zone, it's an holistic approach. So we think that the body is not several zones, it's only an entire body. So
And then,
so
you don't only affect, you can diagnose. You do diagnostics, so you can understand what the problem is by seeing the reaction, right, of the body.
yeah. In France, we can't make diagnosis or because it's not for it's not medicine in France. But in the effect, it's that we can talk about that. So from we can do a lot of things. Of course, we can help for during cancer. We can help for body of women, for example, with the endometriosis, of PCOS, of menstrual trouble, when you have some problem in your shoulders, for example. So that we have access to your body with feet or hands or the head. So as we have this access, we can do a lot of things.
So where
Of course, if you have a cancer, we can we can't go out your cancer, but we can help you about the therapy and the secondary effects.
So where do the sound and perception of sound come in? What's your understanding of sonic stimulation?
Okay, with the sound, my approach is in my clinic. When I begin, I love music. I don't play an instrument, but I love music. In my clinic, I wanted to make an ambience with music, but for me, during 8 hours, if you have some the sounds of water and cascade or bamboo or something, it's boring for me during 8 hours. So I looked for another sound. So I found a web radio with soft music, blues, bossa nova, and something very soft. And when I saw this touch me, I think we can do something else, an increase method. So it began like this, but it's very different to the reflexologist treatment, because the people who is treat are some earphones. Me too. I have some earphones, and where it increased the connection between us.
So it adds another layer. When we were designing Touch Me, I was really into ideas of biofeedback, when you get feedback on what's happening to your body with either sound or something else. And a big idea for us is having another layer of senses to your body. To in a way, it's very similar to synesthetic effect, to synesthesia, when several senses mix, where we, by adding another reaction, a sonic reaction to touch, you have more attention to this reaction. And the idea is that Our hope in general in this as an art project is for people to give more attention to the objects in their world, to colors, to smells, the sounds, and specifically with touch me to to how the touch feels. Because I've read several books about touch, and it seems like one of the most important feelings that human body has, because we get it first uh, before we're born and after we're born. It's the most developed feeling in the beginning that conditions us, and it's the last feeling to leave our body also. And what's interesting is that it's very similar to the touch is very closely connected to vision and hearing, because it dictates the way that we are handled when we're a child, dictates our interaction, social psychology. It's called social tactility, the field of study. And then it affects how we hear and how we watch things, kind of our dynamics of observing the world. So for us, it's very interesting. The problem is that we are not practitioners, and it's always very exciting to see someone who actually deals with human bodies on a daily basis to try it. So this is very interesting for us. We have had interesting experience with many rehabilitation centers, mostly for autistic children.
Yes. Okay.
In different parts of the world. But then it's it's a complicated topic, because what seems good in the moment might not be good in the long term. So if you get, for example, a human with autistic spectrum excited about touch, which they usually are, they narrow their perception thresholds. And if they're excited about touch, then they make a touch and they make a breakthrough in terms of human connection. It doesn't mean it's good in the long term, because it can be actually a stress. And in a few days, they would close make even narrower, smaller the senses that they allow themselves. So it's interesting for me. What doctors told me before is that it's interesting because it excites people. It's like a new level of excitement about touch, but it's not very clear which methods could be productive. Like there are some situations when you need to get your patient excited, have a bit of attention, but we haven't found a very clear methodology which is good as well for human body. But at the same time, there are a lot of practitioners around the world who buy devices from us, but we're still waiting for scientific backing, or at least experimental. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's very exciting for me to hear about your experiments. And what was the reaction of people when they try?
When the treatment finished, they are in another planet. So as the smoke some cannabis or something like this. So when we made this event in the shop, it was a short treatment, around 20 minutes, but it was amazing. All the reactions are wow. That's the first effect for human being on for the health. We need more time, of course. In my treatment, without sound, a reflexology treatment during 1 hour. So of course, in 20 minutes, you couldn't have the same slide. Talk. but the reaction was very, very, very amazing, very good. They want more, of course.
It gives another layer.
So yeah, as you said, is you add another sense in the treatment. So but the difficulty in this approach is to choose the good sounds or and the good effect. And for me, it's to you have the sound, and you have to stay in one position during 1 or 2 seconds. It's very different when you have no sounds and no touch me. So I have to change my treatment and my pressure and my touch to be with the music and with the sensation, the feeling of the body. So it's a
This
lot
can
of
be
concentration for me.
This can be adjusted. What we use is something called Midi filters. It's slightly more musical and technical, but there are ways to make it more sensitive, more fast, or less sensitive, the sound, and have a dynamic of the sound where one touch makes a longer.
Olga and Vincent make choose and Sasha the fine sounds who could be better with this kind of sounds. So so for me, it's I choose with Ableton, with preload or something like this to be because it was easier for me to use that. You have preload, so I only need preload and make some music with that, and that's the difficulty. I don't know if I answer on your question.
So it's just interesting how you use it, and also we have inside Playtronica we have ability to build online synthesizers, and that's our plan. And we hope someday to collaborate maybe with you, or if anyone else comes forward, online versions where the sound is already built in. And there is a field of music therapy where maybe it's good to pair a music therapist with a touch therapist and with someone from Playtronica, where they develop a combination together. Because it's interesting that there are all kinds of music studies right now in terms of how they affect human performance. For example, yesterday I watched this video about, lo-fi hip-hop. It's like this very popular videos on YouTube with lo-fi hip-hop, and a lot of people who study medicine, for example, they need to see it and learn for a long time, and they all listen to lo-fi hip-hop. And then there was a person who did a big scientific research on the effects of memory retention with lo-fi hip-hop, and they found that there is what's interesting about that, for example, is that there is enough noise and melody in there to feel like to distract your mind from everything else, but not to grab too much attention, right? And there are people in the world who study that, who study how different sounds, if not sound, but at least styles affect your focus. I don't know about healing or medicine, but for sure it's a big field. And both Sasha and Olga and me are fans of Brian Eno. He wrote music for hospitals. So it's like it's a big field, but the problem is, you're right, it's complicated. It's not easy to choose sound. For example, I'm not really a musician, so for me, we feel that Playtronica is a little bit weak in terms of providing good sound, but that's something we want to improve. It's just not. We are much better at designing objects than designing synthesizers so far, but we hope to get better.
Yeah. We know that music and notes are in the medicine. There are a lot of research, but we are just at the beginning of this medicine, because there are no pills though. So maybe for the industry it's not
very
interesting. Of course, it's the law of our industry. We can see that actually with vaccine or something else.
That's very interesting, and yeah, it's something that we would be happy to help with choosing sounds. Maybe we'll talk later about the particulars of it. So for those who are watching this video, we have a small WhatsApp group. I don't know if you are on this group, but for people who work in medical professions and use TouchMe. So I'm still building it up, but the idea is to build a community of people who experiment with this and over time start exchanging ideas. So we'll add you to this group. There is not too much going on at the moment, but but the plan is to slowly grow and see, and for us as a company to respond to what you feel is important. For example, when we work with children in autistic spectrum, we, instead of changing the melody, we change the volume, because we've been told that the intensity of the sense stimulation is much more important than the character of the stimulation. Mostly for most cases. So the volume of the sound has a very direct response in psyche. It depends on application, but this is one of the examples. So we were thinking of making TouchMe for therapy with which would change the volume instead of music, for example.
Yeah. The difficulties are with medicine. It's I think it's because you can have an approach with one trouble, for example, autistic children, and with that group you have unique people. So you can have one direction and one approach, and of course with all the senses, it's
different.
It's unique therapy. I can see that in my therapy. We have some protocols, of course, for one troubles, but when you have the people and when I have the feet above me or just near me, the protocols, I put it in the bin, because
everyone is
it's a first approach, but it's not this approach of the person. In the reflexology, we have, I don't know if you see that, we on the net you can see map about the plantar foot. Sorry.
I actually use.
Sorry. We can see map of. I repeat. We can see map of the plantar foot or hand, and you have the organ inside it. So you can think it's that map. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's false because yes.
I'll just show it so that it's easier to talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. You can add a reflexology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So the first one, for example. Okay. So you can see on the right or the left foot. So and the two, you can see the two, it's the head, for example. But this kind of chart, it's a good map and it's a false map because it's all schools are their map, but in
There are
finality, that's I see it's one people add one chart, one people have their chart, because so on one people come in my clinics, they are in at the when I saw them, the chart it's like this, and 1 or 2 weeks after, the charts are changed, of course, because I did something on the body. So the body move, everybody.
So it's dynamic.
So the charts are good and they are false. That's why it's difficult to have an approach, but we have to have an approach, but we have to change everybody. So you said about the volume or something like this. So
Do you think
that's why it's difficult.
when we even just do workshops with children, we find that our technology is good for keeping their attention. Do you think it's? I find that this is, in my understanding, our technology has most potential in keeping attention. So, for example, if I go to do massage and I think about work, I think about my own problems, I don't relax, it wouldn't be as effective, right? So I think it's interesting that by adding the sonic layer on the simplest terms, it's just more engaging, more immersive. You just add one more sense, two more sense. You can also add smile. Like having holistic approach to senses. What in science is called multimodality. So using several modes of perception is. Do you think it's a good direction?
Yeah, a lot of sense. For me, for example, I can use oil essential, so for the smelling. For example, you have the orange, so it's very cool and relax, essential oil. So of course, all the scents can be in a therapy, but we maybe when you have too much senses, maybe it's too much. So I don't know about that.
So like with
one or two senses, maybe not more.
So there's a fine line
know.
between confusing the person and keeping them focused. Right?
Yeah, because of about senses and neurologic approach, and it could be a confusing way.
So we're almost reaching, I think, 40 minutes, let's continue our conversation later. But thank you for agreeing to talk a little bit. It's our first experiment in recording my first experiment in recording these kind of conversations. I have them very often, but I thought it would be interesting for to open up the discussion for other people also.
Okay, maybe the next time I could be with the people to show you in live what it could be.
Yeah, and
A
we would love,
reflexology sound sessions.
and we would love to support you technically. So and with anyone who works with body and wellness, don't be afraid to email us, message me, and we'll try to help you technologically in terms of trying to find the best solution in terms of sound and in terms of even devices, because we're open to developing new devices for new approaches. So
okay, yeah.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot.
It has been very interesting. I'm sorry I'm keeping it short, just for the viewers, but let's continue conversation in WhatsApp. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.